Hey guys, this is Ricardo speaking and welcome to the Retromodern Design Challenge. The briefing was as simple as it is vague and wide. It is to design an old car and then do a separate retro-modern reinterpretation of the original. So not only are you going to design and be judged on one car, no, 2 cars this time around. And we had 101 valid entries to judge. Fortunately, the community has helped us out with that and has done the initial judging that leaves us with 16 finalists that we are going to take a look at today. But before we do that, let's appreciate the 85 non-finalists that maybe just did not make the cut. 16 finalists still stand, and they will be judged by our panel of Discord server admins. That is Marcus, MyComp7, as well as Mr. Chips. Alright, let's get into it and enjoy.
Okay, so our first entry is the Lift Equations Super Roadsters.
Older one looks cool. Newer one is kind of lacking. The rear of the old one is lacking too.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of detail in here, that's for sure. Especially in the engine bay. I mean, they've gone to some effort to have more than just a basic automation engine in there, which is kind of nice to see.
They look like they are both built on the same chassis, just with different fiberglass bodies.
Yeah, that is unfortunately one thing it's both interesting that they did that, but also it kind of hamstrings their design a little bit because it makes the old car and the new car look almost too similar to one another. Makes it look a little bit more like a resto mod design than it does sort of a retro modern design, where we have an old car that the new car sort of riffs on in terms of design language and features and whatnot.
I'll go with like 4.5. Didn't really like that one. I think it's undercooked, in my opinion. Could really be more differentiated one from the other. It looks like they made the front with all the inspiration and the details on the engine bay, but then in the middle and the rear it just kind of falls off in inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that I'm not super keen on the glass treatment in this car, on either of them actually, front or on the old car or the new car, front and rear and over the engine compartment. It's just weird, I have to say, especially the more modern car with very wide flat windscreen.
Yeah, this body is kind of tough to work with. They could have chosen a better body for building this.
Yeah.
If there's any. It can do the Ferrari and Porsche this body is based, and that's it. It's not really good to build much else. So.
It's hard to say what I think of this one. I mean, it's got some really nice things going on in it, but it's also, as I pointed out, it's too much of a resto mod. Front with the glazing in the car is just a little too weird, and overall, I'm just not really super keen on what's going on.
Yeah, some of the amazing work on the engine bay could have went to the design.
Yeah.
Just quite a good engine bay, but the rest of the car is... It looks like a ship kit car, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I wanted to say, since I've seen this car, why those wheels on the modern one?
Yeah, it's a bit of a choice, isn't it?
It's the wrong choice, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Surely one of the choices ever made.
Yeah, I like the wheels in the older car a lot better than the new one. And that's not really saying a whole lot because I'm not super keen on the wheels in the old one either.
And I love how they detailed the engine bay on the new one, but if you put the camshell back on, it's literally one big picture. I like that.
So what do we think? I'm gonna give this one... I'm gonna give it a 5, I think.
Yep. That was basically also my thought. But the longer I stare on this, the more nitpicks I find.
In my opinion, there
That's a
were...
very straight windshield.
Yeah.
There were cars that didn't make it to the finals that were better than this.
Yeah. Again,
I can agree with that.
It is a community vote, so we're kind of...
So everybody else is at fault. Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, I should mention we had probably just under 250 votes on all the community finalists, so the community has spoken. Rightly or wrongly, that is how it is. Okay, up next is from 4 Big Guys, and we have ourselves a couple of sports cars here.
Which one of the 4 made each car?
Yeah. Maybe it was all 4 of them.
4 big guys made a car that probably can't fit in.
Now this one, unlike the previous entry, is actually a proper retro modern design.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off by saying that I like the older car quite a bit more than the new one.
Do you actually? I'm thinking the opposite.
I think it's the older car just has more interesting detailing on it, and the new car is. I mean, it has some interesting stuff going on for sure, but it's a little bit forced in places, I think.
The design of the new car is good, but the guy made it on an older body than the style he was going for. That dated the car a little bit.
Mm.
Also, the old car is just if the Cheetah was European.
Hmm.
That's
I
actually
mean-
pretty cool.
I mean, if you really want to go like that, this is very much like a certain 2-letter Italian brand.
Just a little bit, yes.
Just a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, I really like the license plate too. I mean, that's a nice touch, is getting the proper vintage license plate in there.
It is.
The only nitpick I have of the old car, the grill is maybe a bit flat, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I like both of these, just in general.
Yeah, actually, the more I look at the new car, the more I'm kind of warming up to it. I mean, it's got a little bit of awkwardness to it, but then again, really, is there a retro modern car out there that doesn't have just a little bit of awkwardness to it?
I'm kind of bummed by the newer car because the idea is really, really good, but the body is dating it a lot. It is like a 2015, 2010 car, but the body is clearly like 1998. So.
Yeah, I think the rear view really shows the age, because from the front, yeah, that looks fine. But if you go to the rear, it's like, Fiat Barchetta. Or what was it? The Turbo.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm still kind of warming up to the new one, I think the older one is quite a bit better overall. It's generally a pretty nice effort overall. I think maybe, if you've got some trypophobia, fear of holes, you're not going to like that rear end very much on the new car.
I've seen ones with more holes.
Yeah.
I made ones with more holes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
for sure.
I see cars with a lot of holes.
I think I'm gonna go with like a 6. Just because the older car is really almost completely spot on. The newer
Yeah.
car is fine.
Yeah, the old car is definitely the better of the two here, I think. I'm going to give it a 6.5 overall, just because I think the new car is like, I'd give it a 5 just by itself, but the old car, I'm thinking that's an 8 to an 8.5 or so for me. So we'll go 6.5 and just sort of split the difference a bit.
Should be nicer than with the 7. I like both of these.
Props for the builder to have went with the no interior room of the Cheetah on this one. Which is bold because people complain a lot about ergonomics on this forum.
Yeah. It pays to spend a little bit of time and attention on that. But, as long as you wouldn't have someone sitting in their car and have their head hanging like a foot outside the window or whatever. But, I mean, you kind of have to make it believable, basically. But,
Yeah.
okay, so this is from Chiefs Act 2018, CP and Speedy Boy. And it is a pair of super convertibles.
Yeah, this is very, very 80s. Like, violently 80s.
Cocaine, that's what it is. It's
couldn't
very
be-
let me open up a tuning company on cocaine style. Hint, hint.
Yeah, the older one is just a Gambala Avalanche.
Yeah.
The newer one is just a Gambala Avalanche if it was built now.
Mm-hmm.
I am quite a bit biased by this kind of style. This guy's getting a good note from me.
Yeah.
Only thing I
Although-
really hated on the new car was that wing.
I'm
Yeah.
going to say I'm probably going to differ from you guys a little bit on this one, I think, in that the designs are good individually. They're good together. But is it actually a retro modern design of a new car and not just a new car made to look like the old car as sort of a tribute, basically? Does it really fit with the design brief? And I'm struggling to see how well it does that.
Well, there are two things on the new car that are bugging me a lot. The front end is too empty. This black part is too... It could have more details there. And the silver strip on the roof doesn't look that modern. I know there's a Targa Porsche that looks like that modern in like real life.
Yeah, but,
But-
isn't that literally a retro design cue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And that's actually sort of the part that I was looking at and thinking, okay, well that does sort of help it out in that regard, because it is a common design theme between the new car and the old car. But yeah, this one's a challenging one.
Been more in theme. If either the older car was wilder or the newer car was tamer, they would match better.
But I want to give them credit. This is one of probably the single car I've seen where they have like the fins and it works.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
that's for sure.
And it actually works.
Well, it's interesting though, because the fins are actually only on the new car. The old one doesn't actually have any fins, if you look closely.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it why they are because of the wide body kit of the old one. So I see the idea.
Yeah, the mounts of the wing of the newer one actually don't look that good. They might be good for aerodynamics, but this is a Targa. I don't think you are that concerned about aerodynamics.
But yeah, that's basically what I said. I just don't like the wing or the wings in this place. I've just seen the ducktail from this. Just in general, I don't know.
Yeah. The
Maybe
front
if
of
it's
the new
too
one
tricky.
lacks a lot of details. It could be much more detailed.
Yeah. We've had a couple people asking in the chat about interior shots, and this is basically as good as we've got here from the submissions that we got from the builders.
So yeah, it's probably the idea was conveyed. That's it.
I'm gonna go with 7.5 for this. I wanted to give it an 8, but nah.
Yeah, I
Just
think
because I'm biased.
I'm on 7.5 for this one too. I mean, as cars by themselves, they're 10 out of 10. Like they're awesome.
Yeah.
It's unquestionably great designs here, but does it actually fit with what we're looking for in this challenge? I'm just not convinced, unfortunately.
I'm joining them with that score. I think that's fine.
Up next is from Crazy Cat 808, and it is a pair of luxurious French sedans.
Yeah,
Let's
we'll
just-
pretend we don't know where this comes from.
No.
Well, see, it does and it doesn't, though. I mean, it's
gotta
very obvious that the old car is riffing on sort of Citroen DS, but the new car is it's very much an updated. It's exactly, I think, what you would see if the new car is built sort of in the mid to late 2000s or thereabouts, maybe a little later.
One thing I really like about this is that the I think C5 Palace is a direct successor of the DS, and this new car looks more like the old car than the C5 looks like the DS. He went more retro with his new car than the real one. This is cool. Yeah, this front end looks like the car crashed and was fixed badly.
But I do like that it's not directly Citroen.
Mhm.
It's still very much its own thing.
The side moldings look nothing like the Citroen and looks really good.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool design overall.
Yeah.
The new car is too, generally. I mean, it's a lot harder to pull off something like this on a new car, but they've largely done it.
Yes.
It feels obviously like a new modern car, but at the same time, it still strongly resembles the old one.
Yeah. I really like that I can see where the inspirations come from, where the details of the real cars come from, but they work together in a way that doesn't look like the real car.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
But
good.
the
only
real
thing-
window is bugging me.
Yeah, I was going to say that rear window is really bad. It's the only
Yeah.
part I can actually criticize about this new car is this rear window. The rest is pretty much flawless. I think the tail lights are a little simple for a modern car. The rest is great.
Yeah, but light's hard.
Yeah, especially modern
Mhm.
lights, because they can get so complicated so quickly too. It gets the general idea across, and like we're not talking about an absolutely super modern like 2025 car, which every single one of them has hyper complicated rear tail lights with lots of elements in it, but it's sort of in
That
that
makes them fine. Yeah.
yeah, it's sort of in that straddling range between, you know, in the 2000s when everything was very simple, you know, apart from when everybody had all those ridiculous Altezza tail lights, which were not, and the modern times when everything's just crazy.
The wheels put it is squarely on 2010. Those are the 2010 wheels.
Yeah.
I really like that. This one's getting a good score from me.
Yeah,
I think so too, yeah.
I think I'll give it probably. I mean, I'm obviously biased towards French cars, so I mean that's just me. But
But yeah, the only things I can really say on this, like the lights are maybe a bit easy or not as complicated as the rest, but that's just because lights are hard to do.
mhm.
I struggle with that still, especially in this era. But
Yeah.
the rear window, that's like you could have gone with the full glass at that point if you already have the section there, like the original one.
Yeah. I think that's something that even a real car designer, like even if it isn't a full glass for whatever reason, they probably would have made it a little bit more inconspicuous, just with maybe a different material choice for the border.
Or, you know, still do the glass thing and just block out on the interior. That's what people do.
Yeah, like a full glass panel, but with the columns inside and most of the window
Yeah.
blacked out.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna give this one an 8.5.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do too. I was going to originally give it an 8, but I think 8.5 overall, just because it is a very well executed old car and a very well executed modern car. I mean, there are nitpicks here and there on it, but generally, yeah, I
It's
quite
French.
like it. Yeah.
It's French. Of course, we'll have nitpicks.
It's a bold, it's especially in comparison with a lot of the other entries that we've seen so far, and a lot of the entries we will see, both in finalists and non-finalists. This is a challenging route to have gone, and I appreciate that the builder has done this. So this is from Ellie.
Yeah, this is the new one's not really realistic, but it's sick as.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The new car it's not really a new car, but it's sort of like what Sid Mead's version of a new car would be, basically. Which is
I
awesome.
have that Hot Wheels. I have that Hot Wheels.
Yeah, it's the Cyberpunk 2077 version of that old car.
I think this is a few decades too modern.
Yeah. The 2060 version of a 1960s muscle car.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, technically it's still retro modern, but it's maybe more retro future than anything.
I don't think we prohibited that.
We did not, actually.
Yeah, so this thing's winning. This thing's gonna get a really good score. One of the few nitpicks I have with the modern car is that it's making a mouth with the bumper. It's like...
Oh yeah, it's got the
Okay,
little
yeah.
first. It's got the eyes and the little mouth right beneath. He's got a nose too.
that puckering up of the mouth wasn't there or was a little bit different. I would like it a little bit more. Also, this one is probably easy to maintain because the front bumper is unpainted plastic.
Yeah, it is too, isn't it? Although, is it? Because it's actually a fairly strong reflection coming off of it, so it's glossy.
It's probably painted or something.
Yeah.
Or at least stickered.
Yeah, it's not a plastic material, I don't think. It's an interesting choice, to say the least.
The side
I mean, I
vent on
get
the
the idea for it, like, right? Because it's like, oh look, the old cars had like these big chrome fronts, right, with the
Yeah.
lights. I think the only thing I had a problem with that is the old one doesn't have that big of a chrome front, actually.
Yeah, the old one is
Yeah, you're right.
very conventional.
Yeah.
I mean, it's well done, but it's very conventional. It is when you picture sort of a fastback muscle car. Oh, that's what comes to mind right there, basically.
Yeah.
Not knocking it or anything, but yeah. This one is a bit of a challenge for me when thinking of scores, because I really like the new, or actually it's not really a new car, it's more of a future car. But it kind of suffers from the same problem that Chiefsack and CP and Speedy Boy's entry suffered from, is that
I was
it's
just about to say that.
it's like they're great designs individually. Like I would give them 10 out of 10 for sure, but it's more retro future than it is retro modern. So I think I have to knock it a little bit for that.
Yeah, I don't think they don't look similar. I think both of them plays on a common theme. So, like for example, the Citroen, it's not as common of a theme as a classic American muscle car. So we can point the similarities a little better. This one, they are like 1960s generic muscle car and 2060s generic muscle car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this one is getting the same score of the Citroen for me. They're great news, and their flaws are about averaged.
I think I'm gonna go with the same scores as the one from Seppi, because I think it does suffer from the same problem a bit.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I mean, if it wasn't for the retro future versus retro modern, I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. But because it's just not quite, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Gonna be the mean guy
If
to
that
me.
rear were a bit lower, had a bit bigger bumper, it would make it a really more realistic. The rest of the design is passable as a newer car. It's just the rear that is outlandish.
Yeah. Yeah, the rear is very strongly sort of very concept-y. You know, that's definitely not a rear that would pass any kind of crash tests, that's for sure.
Imagine this rear with the rubber noobs the American market sports cars have to have.
Oh my
On the
goodness.
other hand, it's very safe if somebody like crashes in the back of you, because you will be the one in the back will be just shoved underneath you.
Yeah, you'd
That's
have
a safety feature.
your rear end way up in the air on top of whatever rear ends you, so maybe it is good for safety in the end. This one is from Ivan, and it is
Hell
a
yeah.
couple of sports coupes.
Damn.
My comment to that, hell yeah.
Exactly.
It reminds me very much of the the Peugeot and the Datsun concepts, the coupes, both of them.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
I really like.
Good way.
Now this is a car that the old and the new one are disconnected, because the old one is a classic European sports coupe. The new one is just is a muscle car. There's no way around it. This is a muscle car.
It does have the general shape of a muscle car, but proportion-wise, it's a lot smaller car than it looks like, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
It looks a bit small, yeah.
just like this.
It's when a European manufacturer would create a muscle car.
Yeah, the front end details, like the layout is good, but it is a bit flat in my opinion. It could have. I think it has more volume because I can see a bit of glass on the far tail light, on the far headlight there. But since it's all black, it makes it too flat. It could be in gray on this area and it look a bit better.
I mean, it looks like a whole glass front.
I
Windows.
Looking at it.
I would actually disagree with that. I think I actually kind of like it being black, because otherwise you start adding in a lot more colors, it gets maybe too complicated. I mean, I get
I
that
also, yeah.
I mean, it's something that the older car does as well, as it's basically just flat black, and then obviously the lights and the grille structure inside that. So it's a
also-
modern riff on that.
Yeah.
Also,
I also actually like that it has less body lines. That it's a bit more plainer. It works just,
Yeah.
I think. It works very well, in my
Uh,
opinion.
I know we're not judging by that, but no interior.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
Bench.
Yeah.
If they
Bench.
choose not to show an interior, that's neither here nor there. And I have no issues with them not wanting to show an interior if they don't want to. So, it would be nice to see an interior, but I'm not going to knock them for not having it.
Yeah.
As a standard.
Yeah, I will reluctantly not knock them about that. Yeah, I really like the old car, the new car not so much.
I like them both.
I like
The
them
rear
both too.
of the rear of the new car is really good. The front is nah.
Yeah.
It looks like it definitely has bumped out its price class, I think.
Yeah, sure. This one's getting an 8 for me.
I'm going to be a little bit nice in that. I think I'm going to give this one an 8.5. Just because I think the front on the new car could be... It's very clean, but the hood is just so flat on it. It would be nice to have, even if it's just like a little bit of molding or something, just to give it a little bit of shape. But other than that, they're excellent cars overall.
I'm going with Chip. 8.5.
The wheel arches on the new car are really nice touch because it is one fixture. I know which fixture it is, but it blended so well with the body.
Yeah, overall it's a great effort and, a good retro modern design, I'd have to say.
And actually, I think this is one of the closest to production ones till now. It looks like a production car. It doesn't look anything like a concept.
Yeah, this is very much... I mean, we're really looking for a concept car necessarily here, but this is definitely a very production-ready looking car.
But it has no windshield wipers. It can't be production.
Yeah. Our next entry is from Kovico, and we have a pile of GT cars.
Yeah, surely they are a part of GT cars. I mean, great effort to convert that somebody to Jaguar or something. This is also another body that is really hard to make not a Datsun.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of bodies that are, no matter how hard you try, it's always going to be a little bit of its original inspiration. I will say that this car is very much... Actually, there's 3 cars here in the end.
Yeah, that's actually 3 cars.
Old,
Mm-hmm.
less old, and modern. So that's
Modern,
probably...
retro,
I think this
classic.
is the only entry that we had that actually had 3 cars in it. So that's an interesting choice. I kind of wish we had some more shots of them though, of all 3, instead of just sort of 2 and 2 and 2 and just that last one being 3.
It does have the Rolls-Royce take of never changing the design. Changing the bodies, changing the age of the car, but the vibe of the car is the same all around.
Yeah, I can't necessarily fault it for that though. I mean, that's, especially when you're looking at a GT car from what I'm assuming is a very exclusive brand, you're going to try to keep your sort of your style and your cues a lot more referential to one another, for lack of a better way of putting it, than if you were, just coming back and revisiting a design from 30 or 40 years ago. Like, you can see the evolution basically of sort of the old to the new car.
One thing I'm not liking that much is that on the old car, at this time, manufacturers used to use tail lights from off-the-shelf stuff because they couldn't produce them themselves. And this is present on the old car, but on the new car, they didn't have to do that too. They could have went with more detailed, more outdoor lights, but I know lights hard.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm just not convinced in these cars somehow. As mean as that sounds.
I get you. I'm also not convinced, but I can't really point why I'm not convinced. Yeah, the front wheel of this one, this model, this middle one, is not good. These chrome stripes just killed this front for me.
Yeah, it's...
The rest...
Yeah,
it's a little bit... I think it is the chrome stripes, actually, for me, too, that are just not...
I know the old one has the chrome stripes, but they are hidden under... They are not as visible.
Fun fact, the old car or the new car has in the rear a chrome stripe, which the old one doesn't, I think.
Yeah, it's probably referencing the chrome rear bumper.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm thinking these cars are too generic. They
Maybe.
aren't as catching attention. Maybe this is by design. Maybe this is like a unassuming coupe, like a lot of luxury cars are. But like the sport luxury cars usually aren't like that. It's usually the sedans or wagons or SUVs now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This one's a baffling one. Like, there's a lot of things that I like about it, but there's also a lot of things that I'm not terribly keen on. Like, the one thing I really like, and I'm only just noticing it now, is on the new car, the roof. It's got a very Zagato kind of shape to it with that double bubble, not just through the roof line, but also through the glass in the back. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I think
the old car doesn't have that, so it's a new element.
Yeah.
I think this roof is from Shadow's roof mod. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quality-wise, it's about the same as the muscle car or the Citroen, but eye-catching-wise, it's below those cars for me.
I would also say that. Is
I'd
it
go
better
with-
than the first finalist we had? I think so.
I think I'm gonna go with a 7 for this one. Yeah, it's an car for me. It's not really special, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 7 as well. I think it's not quite there, I don't think. I mean, it's got some nice ideas, but overall it's just doesn't feel like it's been cooked enough, basically.
Maybe it's because it's like, I don't know why, it has that GTA, like, we're taking a real car and making a GTA version of it vibe to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's
It
that's
looks
fair.
like a car from a game that doesn't have the license.
An Aston Martin. Our next entry is from Pwan.
Oh, that's
This
weird.
is a Mitsuoka. This is a Mitsuoka. This is a Mitsuoka. This is a Mitsuoka.
Yeah,
Yep.
it really is. Somebody tried to do the Morgan / Wiesmann treatment. It didn't work.
Which is too bad because the old car is really quite nice. I really like the old one.
This
Yeah.
is a goddamn Mitsuoka, and I am all up for it. I love that.
Stupid.
It's so stupid. I loved it.
That's kind of the point, though.
It's a BMW. What is it? A Z3, but Mitsuoka.
It has a snoot on the front.
It does. Oh, pedestrian safety will love that. Mm-mm.
Good thing they're only going to make a handful of them a year, so they're exempt from those rules.
Oh, cool.
If they get like 10 people to buy this, they are in luck. I will buy one, but I will be one of the few.
And you know what? I like this more than the previous car.
Yep, sure.
Yeah,
It's about on the same level of quality, maybe a little bit above, but this one you will remember.
yeah, it's definitely a memorable car, that's for sure.
I wish there were more pics of the old car. It looks to be really well made, and I can't see it.
Yeah, it's too bad
That's
because
sad.
the old car, as I said, I really quite like the old one, quite a lot.
The most sportiest Rolls Royce you will ever see.
Like if you're doing a 50 sports car design challenge, that would be
Might be
a
fun.
winner. Yeah, but we're not doing a 50s sports car design challenge, so
I don't know about you guys, but this one is getting a good score from me.
I'm just I might have to stop you there because that's not the question. Is this considered retro modern or just retro designs or like
It is a
Retro
retro
element on a
modern in the
new car.
Mitsuoka way.
yeah.
yeah, it's a retro modern
Yeah.
design in that it's basically a parody of a retro modern design, essentially.
You know what? I'll give you that.
I'm gonna give it. You guys are gonna curse me, but I'm gonna give this thing a 9.
9, maybe not 9, but I'm fine with 8. It's beautifully stupid.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5, just for that reason too. Like I would basically say, the old car is 10 out of 10. The new car is
Yeah.
maybe 5 out of 10. So split the difference there.
Nah, I
Yeah,
want
but
this new car for me. I want this thing.
Yeah, but I can see how you could do a bit different things, especially with the lights on the new one.
I really like how he made the rear looks like it wasn't designed it like that, and then just put a body kit. You
Yeah,
can
I think-
clearly
yeah.
see that.
Hmm.
The front looks like that too.
The whole car is basically the only thing that makes it look like it's an actual production car is like the doors and the windshield and the interior. It's like, as you said, as Mitsuoka would do, it's this is a normal car that has been turned into something absolutely insane.
This thing is not gonna get a 10 for me because the front end is too low. If the front end was a bit higher to accommodate for like a realistic engine bay, it would get a 10 for me.
Hmm.
At 10 for me, this would have gone more the Morgan way, I think, of the modern Morgans.
Yeah.
Instead of having those ports have actual like flush round headlights and stuff like that.
I could go into a whole great
Yeah.
big diatribe about modern Morgan design, but I will hold off on that because that is not the conversation for now.
It can improve a lot, but it is a really good base for the few weirdos that like this sort of stuff.
So the next one is from Priam, and it is two very expensive GT cars.
Well, they
And-
might not look alike, but thematically, they are very much there. This
Yes.
is the most expensive car from each era, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Yep. I think I dare say that so far this is by far the largest age gap between the cars that we've seen.
Probably,
Mhm.
yeah.
Also, I
Yeah,
want to
like a
compliment the
car.
builder because this is another body, the old car. It is another body that is really hard to make not the car it's based off. And he was able to do it. It looks nothing like the base car.
Yeah, it's well,
Wouldn't
I don't know. I mean,
quite
it's
say
still.
that.
I mean, the old car. The old body, as you said, it's a very difficult body to work with to make it look like something that it isn't. And the shapes of the old car are so distinct in terms of what the body design is, and in terms of what the inspiration looks like. It's even though they made an excellent effort to try to get away from that, it really hasn't got away from what the old car is. I mean, I'm not knocking it for that. It's just how it is with this body style.
I can see the vibes of Chrysler 16 on the newer car. It doesn't look like it, but it has the vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically company language.
Yep. And this is exactly what to lay out sort of the hypothetical scenario here is we've got the old car from, a storied manufacturer, and then that manufacturer disappeared for like 80 years. The new car is
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what you'd see, at the Geneva Motor Show or whatever, where, we're reviving this brand, and this is what we've decided to come out with for our concept car.
Yeah.
Someone corrected me. It is a Cadillac 16. I said Chrysler.
Oh yeah, that's true. What was that Maybach? Maybach Accelerator?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that really big
Yeah.
car that they made for the tire company for ostensibly for testing, but they just made it because it was cool. Let's be honest.
Mhm. The front end of the new car is a bit lacking for my liking. I think the vent and the headlight could be a little better handled, especially the vent. The vent is really crude for me. It doesn't match the rest of the car. The front
Yeah.
grille is great. The hood lines and the chrome is great, but the vent there and the headlight are not doing it much for me. Is there a picture of the rear of the new car?
There should be. Let me just take a look. Yeah, there we go. It's not.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the
I-
rear of the current Gen Miata.
I also, from the pictures from the front, I also already was like, that's a very wide stance for such an elegant car.
Yeah, it is.
The rear could be really better made.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Also, and this is just a bit of a nitpick here in terms of build. If you look at the area over the driver and passenger door, there's a little bit of a weird gap in the chrome, as if it's one of the fixtures is just shifted a little bit, and it's like looking at someone's smile and there's this massive chipped tooth in there.
Yeah, this
I
could
mean,
have.
if you really want to go nitpick like that, on the rear bumper on the lowest edge, there's a bit of red underneath the black.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Zero
Oh.
0 out of 10.
I will not comment on this sort of stuff because I've been ignoring it on the other cars. I saw this
Yeah, of
stuff on
course.
the other cars, but I've ignored it because it's automation.
Yeah,
This is
Some-
just shit posting.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore this. This could be a 10 out of 10 if the modern car was a little bit better executed.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the rear. I mean, the
Yeah.
rear just. I mean, the front is generally fairly nice, except for that one vent, as you pointed out, Marcus. It just doesn't work. But the rear is a massive letdown on this one, I'm afraid.
Absolutely.
So I think I'm going to give this one. I'm going to be kind of hard on it. I'm giving it a 6.5, I think.
You wanted to go hard, I wanted to go lower than the 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 6.5 too. I really would like to give it a better score. The initial presentation, the initial impact is really good, but when you start
Yep.
looking at the details, it falls off really quickly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
The old car is a 10. The old car is an absolute 10. But in a competition like that, the new car has to be really good.
Yep,
It is the star of the show.
exactly.
That's a very GT Vision photo.
It is. The car, it's so busy, the car kind of gets a little bit lost in it, unfortunately.
This
Yeah, the rear looks better from here because it doesn't look that thick at the end. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I would give it
Funny.
a worse score if this was the first pick I have seen.
Yeah. I was like, that's a better first picture.
This picture killed the car.
Yeah, it just goes to show that presentation is very important for stuff like this. So definitely something
Yep.
to keep in mind. Our next entry here is from Ricardo.
Oh, it's this one. I
Yeah,
remember
First.
having an issue with this.
Yep.
First, I love it. Second, the modern car is not modern.
No.
There are 90s stuff that looks like that.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I love this, but this is like the start of a model year and then the end of the model year or something. Or it's like, you know,
one generation after the other,
yeah, it's
basically.
one generation after the other.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just not enough separation between these two, which is unfortunate
I can-
because there's a lot of good design work going on here overall,
Yep.
I'm
except for
kind
here.
of seeing the Chrysler
That's not a
turbo
flattering
concept.
picture.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I think this car should have pop-ups. These lights are too low for the 90s.
Yeah, they're just too low in general. And it's especially on. And see, I was just going to say, especially on the new car, but is that actually the old car? It's actually very difficult to tell which is which.
Mhm.
They're so close together.
The new car looks like the car from the Wraith movie, the Chrysler Turbo Interceptor.
Yeah, a little bit of that, a little bit of the old Aerotech as well. A little bit of, it's just sort of generic late 80s supercar concept.
Somebody in chat fell into the trap. If you would give it pop-ups, it would exactly look like the XJ 2020, which this is clearly based on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rear of the old car has LEDs, and no,
No, it's just
wait,
behind.
the Jaguar one is the new.
So you're just as
Holy,
confused as I am.
I was thinking the old car was the new one. The old car,
Yeah.
the other car. I just noticing now the Jaguar one has the LED tail lights, so this is the modern one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not modern, bro.
Yeah, it's just,
That's very modern for the front I just seen. What year is that car? Hold on.
yeah. I'm completely at a loss for it, to the point that I'm not even going to begin to say which one is the old one and which one's the new one. And unfortunately, that is going to affect the score that I give these quite a bit.
I really like the cars separately, but I will have to give a terrible score for this because it totally fails on the proposition.
Yeah.
The
Badly.
rear body line or the new ones also. It's round on the top, but the lights are edgy.
Yeah.
Stop me.
Yeah.
5 or something. Let me think about this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 5 just because it's marginally better than the first car we saw.
That's a good interior.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Give it that.
In terms of the execution, these are two very well done cars. There's really no question about that. But the problem is as we've mentioned many times, is there's just no space between these cars. They could literally be, here's the 1991 model year car, and then here's the 1998 model year car. They're just so close to each other that it doesn't work for me.
On the rear of
a very nice interior for a car made in 2010.
Mikom, you pointed that the rear of the Jaguar body one has that upper part that is raised but has nothing there. That is a morph. You can make that straight. But if you make that straight, it's literally the rear of the Jaguar. He made that to differentiate it, but since he didn't put nothing there, it just looks empty.
The real answer is you can do anything with the body with enough pain and transparent stickers.
Yeah, with enough motivation and enough time, morphs become completely irrelevant.
With enough self-hate, you can do anything.
Indeed.
With enough unemployment, you can do anything.
I'm going to give this a 5 as well, just because it's... And actually, that honestly is probably being charitable, I'd have to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
This one deserves a 3, but I don't know how to give it a lower score than the first car. The first car really didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
So it's getting a 5.
Yeah.
It's too bad because there is a lot of nice design work. I mean, there's these little subtle details in the engine compartment, the strut towers and the tube frame.
This picture almost looks like a photo of a real car.
Almost.
Yeah.
The fans take it out for me just because that they're so obviously those automation mod fans that it kind of ruins the immersion a little bit. But yeah, otherwise this is a nicely composed picture too, I have to say.
Yeah, the lighting is really good.
What we should just do is we cut that picture just at the... we cut that picture on the right away so that you don't see the radiators, and then we put it in game as a loading screen.
Easy.
It's tempting. Although I have some other pretty cool engine pictures that I've been working on for that, so we'll see. Another nice engine picture right there of his single inlet V12 manifold.
Ford!
We have Riley's wedgie supercars.
Yep. I was going to say the Stratus that wasn't cut for the finals should have been, but I see it is there, just made again by another person.
It's the same idea.
Yeah, that's cyberpunk as.
I wouldn't say cyberpunk.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say cyberpunk. It's very much like the modern Countach.
And
It is.
modern interpretation.
And it's on the Countach body.
It looks like if they made the motor Countach actually square, because the motor Countach isn't square enough.
No,
Oh,
Yeah.
That's great.
that is a nice looking.
I do have this HERI, and pixels always look great on that.
This one maybe could use a little more light, but still a pretty nice shot.
or just in like a neon color or something.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed, and it was pointed out in one of the community comments for one of the other cars, is that, there's a nice design, but showing in a dark color like this doesn't really help very much.
Yeah. The problem I'm having with this one is that it doesn't look factory. This looks like a body kit.
Ooh, I can see that. If you really want to be mean, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, there definitely is a little bit of that for sure. Oh, that was our last shot there. The side of this body, you can see kind of in this reflection here, it's such a strange shape. It's got kind of a concave roundness to it. It's kind of weird. I think that's just the body though, the way that it's like there's no molding or anything going on here. It looks like. Oh no, there is actually. You can see it in the previous shot. There's a little bit. That's a bit of an odd choice.
That is the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, I can see
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I pointed out. You can definitely see it from this view that it's a fixture there. Bit of an odd choice, but there we are.
I
Oh,
think
the
it
molding.
works. It works out, but again, it's one of the things that make this looks like it's a body kit or a more simpler car.
Yeah.
Not
It
like
has,
an
it has,
aftermarket.
it has enough. It has enough changes to it to see like, nah, that's
My
definitely.
problem
modern.
with this one is the same problem with the Jaguar. The two cars doesn't look modern and old. They look like the street and the race version of the same car.
It's got a very strong sort of Lamborghini LP400 Countach, the Periscope versus the 25th anniversary kind of vibe going to it. Basically the same car, just separated by like 15 years, basically.
It was hard for me. The modern car looks like this, looks like a late version of the first car, but with a body kit that adds the white fenders, the big wheels, the modern splitter, because we didn't have this kind of splitters at that time. The front air dent is really modern looking. This is hard because I really like it both, but
yeah. I was going to say that I really, really like both of these designed individually. Like, they're great. Really great. But we're kind of struggling here with the Retromodern design a little bit.
Yeah. I would give it a halfway note between the Jaguar and, like, the Mitsuoka. I think, a 7. 6.5, 7. About that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that area too, actually.
I would like to give it a better score because this is the sort of car I built. Like, old cars modernized, but it's clearly an old car modernized, not a new car.
Nah, I'm gonna be nicer. I think this feels very like the new Countach and what was that other Bugatti? They also did the same thing because it was that 5 years where everybody had to do the same trend. The Bugatti Cento
Dici.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 7, I think. Just, I like the designs a lot individually, but they don't really work together as sort of a retro modern version of the original. I think some of it too is, I think if the original was a little bit cleaner, a little bit less, with less vents and scoops and whatnot, it might actually work a little better, but yeah.
I think if the model one didn't have like the front splitter, the rear splitter, the huge wheels, it would look more. It would look more to its time. It's looking clearly like modified, modernized by the owner, not by the manufacturer. But it does look really good.
Yeah. So this is from Saul. And this is maybe the most retro and the most modern, although, again, we'll preface and say it's more of a future thing. This is unquestionably the biggest age gap we have in the whole challenge. Like, this is like hundreds of years almost.
Like, besides the color and the job, I don't think there's anything similar between the two.
Yeah. That is, I like that idea though. That's a fun idea somebody had.
It is.
And I'm glad they did it.
It is. Damn. By the standards we set on the other cars, I think we will be obliged to give a higher score for this one.
Yeah, they got all the mannequins out for this one in this shot. It's an interesting take on what they think a taxi cab will be like in sort of, I don't know, what would that be, 2040 or so?
Yeah. The problem I have now is if you wanted to do this concept, somebody did this in real life. It's called the London Black Taxi.
Yeah.
The new ones are actually retro modern designs of the old ones.
Yeah, they are.
Not really involved with what you're judging, but it looks to me like this concept would not be that space optimized. It kind of defeats the purpose of an autonomous cab.
That doesn't matter. We are in vaporwave techno future. We're not talking about efficiency here.
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
We're only here to get the money of our investors.
Yeah,
we're
talking
talking this MF.
Full on and practical way future.
Yeah, this is our startup. Please give us money.
I wonder if it's purposeful that the roof of the new one looks like a coffin.
It does a little bit. I think the idea was it was kind of mimicking the shape of the, like sort of the nose tail shape of the old car. It kind of does, but it also kind of looks like a coffin too.
Damn, this one is really bad and really good at the same time.
It's interesting.
It's a very fun idea, but I
It
don't
is.
think this is the idea of this challenge.
Yeah, it kind of has the same issue that
if the challenge would have been, how do you think of transportation in like the next 25 years, and you would send this in? Yep.
perfect.
We had and judged this challenge already, didn't we? Like a
We didn't,
modern
but I did.
transportation.
What we did was it was part of the official design challenge that we did back in 2022, the future concept car or 20
Oh, yeah.
the 2035 concept car. We had that.
I remember that.
Oh, it's only 7 years old or something by now.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that, but yes.
It kind of looks like a modernized Renault Twizy.
Yep, a little bit.
This one is so in the middle of what we asked that I'm thinking about giving a 5. So it is in the middle.
I don't know.
So I guess it does have an interior, very, very basic one.
I
Certainly
don't
not very
think we
inviting.
need more than that on,
No.
I wouldn't like to
on the
sit there.
proposal. Like, the place where you sit on the new one is where the taper of the rear is, so you're gonna rub shoulders with whoever is taking the cab with you.
Yep, definitely.
I'd rather take the bus.
Yeah.
What you mean, boss? There will be only these around.
F-word.
I wonder, and this is something that looking at the new one is really starting to make me ask some questions. How do these doors actually open? Like, what is their...
I think they slide. I think they slide outwards.
Slide into the taper or something.
It's the only way it could work, but even that doesn't look like it's plausible.
Maybe they go up.
Yeah, we're going full technobabble. They actually split in the middle, and the upper part goes up.
And the bottom
No,
part goes down.
And the lower part goes down for accessibility. There you go. I just doubled our shareholders' money.
Now
Nice.
I am 100% sure that this was made by Maki Guy. This is a Maki Guy vehicle, no doubts. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this one like a, I don't know, 6.5. Nice idea, but like he modernized the job, not the car.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can go over 5. This is not really the challenge here. Like what I'm looking at.
Yeah, to be honest, I said 5 before. I'm gonna stick with that. This was getting a 5.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 5.5, I think. And then I'm also gonna ban Chief Zach for making the skibbity taxi comment because that's just horrible.
I'm gonna middle it out with a 4-5. Ha, there you go.
Well, we do have movable porta potties in the future, self-propelled. When they
Yep.
bug
Yeah,
out, you're gonna use the porta potty, open the door, and be in another.
Finally, porta potty as a service. That's a new startup for everybody.
This is from Sure As Can Be, another retro modern sports coupe.
This is very much the Datsun 210 concept.
Yep.
It has a strong feel of that, and sort of a strong feel of. It's got a little bit of a.
510.
Yeah, a little bit of 510, a little bit of 2002 mixed in. Sort of
Yep.
basically
That's and
take all of your late 1960s sports coupes, throw them in a blender, add in some cool new things of your own to make it unique, and there you are.
Yep.
Yeah. This one is getting high points for me thematically, but I think it could be a bit better built. It could have an interior, and the rear bumper modes are kind of showing. Other than that, great design. This also looks almost like a production car.
I can't really
It
fault
really
this
is.
design for
Bring
the
it down a bit.
sort of the faults in the automation construction. That's just butting against the limitations of the game. So everybody does that for once in a while, and that's neither here nor there.
I'll say
you
there
will
wasn't
simply
going to
not
pick
steal
on
it.
it.
I like the subtle stripes on it. That's cool. Not just
Yeah.
the black car, but the white car too. You know, some good decal work there, and kind of a nice subtle accent.
The rear is very calm for that front, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It is.
If they had added the slant of the headlights on the tail lights, it would look more fitting.
Or like something the actual like Lamborghinis have with like giving it like three of those like swipes underneath that red or something.
The tail lights look like 5 or 10 years older than the rest of them.
I think the thing that's really doing it for me, or actually not doing it at all, is the rear fog light / reflectors down on the bumper. They just feel out of place.
Yeah, kinda. Does we have more pictures of the old car?
We've just got the 2 pictures from the first 2 shots.
That's sad. It looks good.
Yeah, it's a nice looking car.
Yeah.
Good livery work on
And
it
also,
too.
pretty cool that they based the new car on a race version of the old one.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Because those flares
was
probably
super.
wouldn't be on the old car. Also, the exhaust, the exhaust of the race old car is on the production new one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as Sakreen would
Yay.
have pointed out, if he was able to join us today, he was unfortunately unable to join us for personal reasons. The license plates, the custom license plates, really add to the modern design. I know that's one of his favorite things to point out, and it's definitely improves on this one for sure.
I'm gonna give a 9 to this one. It was almost a 10 for me. It's really what I think we are looking for on this theme.
Yeah, I would say so too. The rear is just letting it down for me.
Yeah.
The similarity of the old one and the new one are also quite good, and we criticized this a lot on the other cars, but on this one you can clearly see the design cues of the old one on the new one, but they aren't overtaking the design. It is actually a modern car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't go for the round headlights, for example.
Mhm. Yeah, it strikes a nice balance between being retro inspired and still being a plausible modern design.
And with some effort, you can take like an BMW Series 1 and make a body kit to have this car in real life, because the rest of the middle of the car is pretty normal.
Yeah, I'm
Finally,
gonna
automation in real life.
go 8.5 on this one.
Yeah, I'm joining you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a solid effort, I gotta say.
I kind of have an automation car in real life. I made my real car in auto, put the badges of the made up brand in automation on the real car. But that's the cheap and easy way to do it.
Next up is from the Chowi. A couple
yeah.
of very obviously Scandinavian sedans / hatchbacks / liftbacks.
Scandinavian? I would say this is peak French.
Yeah, no, this is Scandinavian. About like 10-15 years gap from one to the other.
Yeah, it's a very narrow gap between them. It's kind of something that a few cars have been plagued with so far, and this one is no exception.
This one is just out of the critic zone on this topic. It is slightly out. It is like 2 generations over from one to the other.
Yeah, it's hard to.
You have to.
I think it's still not quite old enough to be retro, and maybe, yeah.
No, I think we're just old. That's a car from the 90s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old one is still in its shitbox era.
I can tell you this is French because it has yellow headlights. It's
Yeah.
French. I win.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now that it's very obviously got a French brand, so my mistake.
I mean, to be fair, the idea of this is somebody looked at the new Renault 4 very, very hard.
Yep.
My problem with this one is the same problem we have with the other one. It is a good execution, it is a good pair, but it is kind of bland. It's kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like its own brand, I would say.
Yeah.
If you want to be mean.
My issue is, and this is unfortunately more of a criticism of the body than it is of the design, but the rear ends of both of these cars are awfully flat looking.
On the old car, it's not that big of a problem, but on the new car, it actually is.
Yeah.
It's very long. Maybe that's the problem. I could see it looking better if the rear bumper would be like cut at the half point or something.
I think the roof of the old car is way too long. Like this, the last pillar, the D pillar, is not over the wheel, it's a little bit backwards. And that kind of kills the side profile of almost any car that has this.
Yeah, it's kind of stuck in that sort of not a liftback, not a sedan kind of shape.
Yeah.
Again, that's more of a criticism. That's more a criticism of the body than it is of the actual design, I think.
We have now entered body shaming.
I'm gonna give this one a 6.5. Too forgettable.
Can you show like the modern one again? I don't think we have seen a lot of it.
We only got the 4 shots of this one though, so
Oh, that's sad.
I think something that really kind of takes me out is the rear wheel cover as well. That's just, it feels very sudden and very sharp. It's not really something
That's maybe too much on the nose.
Yeah.
Very straight line.
It is.
Even though this body is better proportionate than the old car's one, it still has the problem of not being a liftback, not being a sedan.
It's consistent.
Yeah, sure. Since it looks like it is like a 2020 to 2025 car, the tail lights could be a little more detailed.
Yep.
The front ones are fine. But yeah, forgettable car, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's the thing that really, again, it's what I pointed out with earlier is that this has just such a massive slab of a rear. It's a bit much, I think. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do with this body because it's just so blocky in the rear. Yeah, I don't know what you would.
But hey, it's French. It has to be weird.
It could have been a perfect crossover.
Yep.
No, wouldn't that have just been the most retro modern thing? Looking at 2025 cars, is have the new car as some crossover instead of a sedan.
I am surprised nobody went there, just for the laughs or something.
Yeah, I mean it'd be very on point for what's being done now. I don't like it, but that's how it is.
That more bland, more normal car went to the finals with the stuff that was not chosen.
I would say, if somebody would have gone the old car is like an 60s, 70s mid-engine sports car, and the new one is the same design on an SUV.
Oh,
I would just left.
Yep.
This could be done if someone had the courage to make a Lamborghini LM002 modern.
Well, that's an interesting idea.
That defeats the idea. It needs to be a completely different body style and market.
Yeah, like the old car is that brute of a Jeep, and then the new car is a plastic SUV.
Lamborghini LM002 to Ford EcoSport.
The biggest downgrade in history.
Our next entry here is from Tommy. Pair of luxury convertibles.
Hey.
That's very Rockstar. That's a GTA car.
Certainly the new one is.
Old one has very drowsy eyes.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a sad face to it. I wish the shots had a little bit more light and a little bit better exposure on them because they're awfully dark.
I think it's the problem with the HDRI. If he had made the shots lighter, the background would be too dark for the shot.
There's ways around that. Prop lighting, changing your lighting distance, all that stuff. There's lots of ways you can butts around with your HDRI scenes to not make them so dark and so flat. But that's
It's a
beside the
shame
point.
because it's a nice HDRI. It just needs some better working. Yeah, the new one looks like the body kit of a Ferrari on a 5C6.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say these are two cars, I think. On
Hmm.
or at least like the same company, but just the 50 years apart.
Yeah, the weirdness translates from one to the other for sure.
Well, they definitely
So
understood
what-
the assignment at least.
Yeah,
Which is a refreshing change.
thematically, it is on point.
Hmm. But in terms of the execution, yeah, I think that's, I don't know, the front end of the old car really, actually, and also looking at the rear, I'm just not really that keen on the old car overall. It's just got some bizarre design
I
cues
like-
in it.
I like the rear of that old car more than the front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. The one thing that's bugging me is that there's way too much metal the rear of the new car. It looks like a replica. It looks like a car that uses a smaller wheel and then they just slap the sports body over it on the newer one.
The newer one.
A little bit, yeah. It's got that kind of sort of a look of, a car that was, a modern car that had a retro body slapped on it. Especially the taillights. I mean, when you see the taillight from the modern car and you see basically the exact same thing on the retro car.
Yeah, the rear of those both cars are maybe retro designed.
Yeah.
This is clearly a case of Mitsuoka without the funny.
No, wouldn't be that mean. I think these are certainly two cars from the same company.
Sure. We have to give it a little better points because he understood the assignment really well. Both cars are equally weird,
Hmm.
to say the least.
I don't know if I'd say they're weird. I mean, the modern car is perfectly cromulent as a modern car. But the old one is definitely towards the weird side of things. But
Pictures are really letting this down.
Probably also, yeah.
yeah, I kind of wish they were just a little brighter. I think if we got a little brighter, we'd see some more of the details and whatnot. It would look more, give us a better look at what we're looking at here.
I'm gonna go with, don't know, 6.5, 7.5, something like that.
I'm gonna give it a 7, I think.
Actually, that I.
Yeah, I think this deserves a server. A 7.
6.5. I don't know.
You had Val pointing out in the chat there that the modern car has very shy tailpipes, and that's in direct contrast with the old car, which is outrageous
It's
for a
proud.
car of that vintage.
It's just standing there, all out.
And huge, too, for a car of that age.
And also, old cars didn't have this chrome cover on the tips. They were just the tube. You rarely see something like that on a car.
I mean, if you really want to look back, I don't think those cars in that era actually had the safety of a roll cage.
No,
Yeah, sure.
safety hadn't
You
been
die like
invented
a
at that
man.
time.
Fucking don't crash.
Okay, we are on to our last entry from Vapor.
Wave.
Wave, let's go.
Vaporscape, technically, but
If this car... Oh, too late for the
it's
joke.
not-
This is a really nice picture.
yeah.
But these are fun.
Yeah, this is quite a well-made design on both.
Yeah,
I
they're.
like that.
I quite like this one. I especially like the old car in this one. But the new car is quite nice and a good homage to the old one for sure.
One thing that I'm really liking on this picture is that it clearly shows that the new car looks a lot like the old car, but is bigger on every dimension, which is really realistic for Retromodern cars.
Mhm.
It is actually different in modern body style.
Yeah, that's really good. The
Yep.
tailpipes on the old car in this one are way more realistic than the previous one. They are
Yep.
long, but they are just the tube with no chrome, nothing.
Yeah, they're pretty much exactly what you'd see in a car of that vintage. You'd see that a little
Yeah,
better
this was
here.
getting a
Yeah.
really, really high score.
Yeah, I really like this one.
definitely.
Yeah, it's hard to find fault in this one actually. I mean,
I was about to say, like, I have nothing to nitpick. This is not fair.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is exactly what you'd see if you had a little 1950s Berlinetta and a modern interpretation of it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not really liking is how the taillights of the new car are outside of, or to outside of the body. I think they would look better if either they were a little inward, or if the side of them had body color and not this black. Because the black's looking like it is dismantling.
I think just this photo might be not giving that the benefit of the doubt. Because
Yeah. I think it's just, it is kind of an awkward angle, I think. But it is in
Yeah, it's
keeping
the-
somewhat
lower angle.
with the old car.
It's
So,
the angle that the HERI is permitting. Any other angle and the ground would look weird.
yeah,
I'm
I like
thinking
this.
about giving this one a 9, to be honest.
I'm thinking about it
Probably more
too.
than that.
It is really well made. Plus, this shows how important good pictures are, because the other car wasn't that worse than this one, but the pictures were horrible compared to.
I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, I think the old car was, the previous entry, the pictures were definitely not helping, but I think this is a much, much better car overall. Both of them.
Also
Yeah,
that,
sure.
Yeah. So it's,
Plus, it does clearly have a lot of body moldings on both cars, but mainly the new one, and you can't see the seams. This is really good.
yeah, they
Yeah.
spent an awful lot of effort making that very tidy. So,
I don't know what to criticize of this. I
Yeah.
can't give it anything lower than a 10, I guess.
Another thing that I'm not really liking that much is the vent on the door. It looks too jarring compared to the smoothness of the rest of the.
I think that's more just
That's the angle, I think.
yeah, it's just the angle.
Yeah, sure.
It looks better from
we-
sort of the rear three-quarter view for sure.
We are now at the point where we have to invent flaws of this car.
Yeah. Yeah, let's cut it at that. I will give
I
this
would
one a
call it
9.
that. That's the 10.
9.5 for me
I
for
don't
this
know.
one.
I wouldn't know what to do better if you just look at that.
Yeah, it's an excellent effort, I'd have to say overall. Probably my favorite car from this whole challenge.
Oh yeah, definitely one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my
And-
favorite, but it's my favorite that it's in the theme.
So in first place, 9.33 out of 10 is Vapor. Second place, 8.57 is Ivan. Third place, just behind 8.52 points, sure as can be. Crazy Cat 808 at 848 points, and then Ellie in fifth place with 8.31. So congratulations to our top 5, all 16 of our finalists, and all 101 of our participants in this challenge. So congratulations once again to Vapor for his relatively dominant win in this challenge.
Now that was quite something, and congratulations to the winner as well as the runner-ups also from myself. And I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you guys next time.